Okay, I thought. So far we're scoring a 0 on the similarities chart. What about your family? I could sense her mental shields going up, like this was not a safe subject. Oh, they're just, family. You said they wouldn't notice if you were gone. She set down her drawing stick. Wow, I'm really tired. I may sleep for a while, okay? Sure. Sorry if... But Rachel was already curling up, using her backpack as a pillow. She closed her eyes and lay very still, but I got the feeling she wasn't really asleep. A few minutes later, Annabeth came back. She tossed some more sticks on the fire. She looked at Rachel and then at me. I'll take first watch, she said. You should sleep too. You don't have to act like that. Like what? Like... Never mind. I lay down, feeling miserable. I was so tired I fell asleep as soon as my eyes closed. In my dreams I heard laughter. Cold, harsh laughter, like knives being sharpened. I was standing at the edge of a pit in the depths of Tartarus. Below me in the darkness seethed an inky soup. So you're so close to your own destruction, little hero, the voice of Kronos chided. And still you are blind. The voice was different than it had been before. It seemed almost physical now, as if it were speaking from a real body instead of whatever he'd been chopped in his chopped up condition. I have much to thank you for, Kronos said. You have assured my rise. The shadows in the cavern became deeper and heavier. I tried to back away from the edge of the pit, but it was like swimming through oil. Time slowed down. My breathing almost stopped. A favor, Kronos said. The Titan Lord always repays his debts. Perhaps a glimpse of the friends that you abandoned. The darkness rippled around me. I was in a different cave. Hurry, Tyson said. He came barreling into the room. Grover stumbled along behind him. There was a rumbling in the corridor that they'd come from, and the head of an enormous snake burst into the cave. I mean, this thing was so big its body barely fit through the tunnel. Its scales were coppery. Its head was diamond-shaped like a rattler, and its yellow eyes glowed with hatred. When it opened its mouth, its fangs were as tall as Tyson. It lashed at Grover, but Grover scampered out of the way. The snake got a mouthful of dirt. Tyson picked up a boulder and threw it at the monster, smacking it between the eyes. But the snake just recoiled and hissed. It's gonna eat you! Grover yelled at Tyson. How do you know? It just told me! Run! Tyson darted to one side, but the snake used its head like a club and knocked him off his feet. No! Grover yelled. But before Tyson could regain his balance, the snake wrapped around him and started to squeeze. Tyson strained, pushing with all his immense strength, but the snake held tighter and squeezed. Grover frantically hit the snake with his reed pipes, but he might as well have been banging on a stone wall. The whole room shook as the snake flexed its muscles, shuddering to overcome Tyson's strength. Grover began to play with pipes, and stalactites rained down from the ceiling. The whole cave seemed about to collapse. I awoke with Annabeth shaking my shoulder. Percy, wake up! Tyson's in trouble, I said. We have to help him. First things first, she said. Earthquake! Sure enough, the room was rumbling. Rachel! I yelled. Her eyes opened instantly. She grabbed her pack, and then 3 of us ran. We were almost to the far tunnel when a column next to us groaned and buckled. We kept going as 100 tons of marble crashed down behind us. We made it to the corridor and turned just in time to see other columns toppling. A white cloud of dust was billowing behind us, and we kept running. You know what? Annabeth said. I like this way after all. It wasn't long before we saw light up ahead, like regular electric lighting. There, Rachel said. We followed her into the stainless steel hallway, like I'd imagined they'd have on a space station or something. Fluorescent lights glowed from the ceiling. The floor was a metal grate. I was so used to being in the darkness that I had to squint. Annabeth and Rachel both looked pale in the harsh illumination. This way, Rachel said, beginning to run. We're close. This is so wrong, Annabeth said. The workshop should be the oldest section in the maze. This can't... She faltered, because we'd arrived at a set of metal double doors. Inscribed in the steel at eye level was a large blue Greek symbol. We're here, Rachel announced. Daedalus's workshop. Annabeth pressed the symbol on the doors, and they hissed open. So much for ancient architecture, I said. Annabeth scowled. Together, we walked inside. First thing that struck me was the daylight. blazing sun coming through giant windows, not the kind of thing you'd expect in the heart of a dungeon. The workshop was like an artist's studio, with 30-foot ceilings, industrial lighting, polished stone floors, and workbenches along the windows.